Are you an immigrant woman that misses her family? Coming up, a heart-to-heart discussion about how women feel post-migration. Welcome to Talking Life and to a whole new way of living. I'm Raja, your excellence mentor on this journey called life. My goal is to support you and make life a lot easier and simpler so you can overcome the challenges and live an outstanding one. Today's video was inspired by an email that I received from one of my readers following reading one of my articles that was published in one of the newspapers. So let me read it for you before we go ahead. The picture you portrayed in your piece aptly describes my current situation. It seemed you looked at my story to write it. Well, I'm gradually moving on, and I'm focused on making it in this new country of mine. But I do miss my mom. So what the picture that the reader is referring to is what I wrote in my article. So I'm gonna just read a few lines before we go ahead and discuss it. So what I wrote then is, the feelings of being miles and miles away, not sleeping properly, at times crying silently, and at other times crying vigorously because you can no longer hold your tears. The anxiety that arises every time the phone rings, the fear of something happening to your parents or a family member when you are far away, the longing for a hug or a kiss from a loved one, the worry of not being able to make it in the new country that you just moved to, and the frustration of dealing with a culture that is totally different and possibly contradicts the one that you were raised in, accompany you in the first few months of resettlement. Now, if you are a woman that immigrated recently to Canada or to any other Western countries, then I'm pretty sure that what I just read for you describes how you feel. You're gonna feel isolated. You may be feeling that you don't have support. You cry a lot, and a lot of times you cannot even talk about it with your husband or your family members because either you don't want to make them feel sad, or because you don't want to, again, to look like you're nagging and that you are keeping negative emotions in the whole family. You're talking about it, and sometimes people just want to move on. And you're gonna find that if you have young children when you immigrate, that they're very resilient. You find them that they're gonna get on with their lives, get into schools, learn the new language, and no issues there. But for you, you feel that you are missing something, and at the same time you may not have the support around you, so you can talk to either a friend or a family member about what you're going through. So to my reader that said that she misses her mom, I totally get it, and I can feel where you're coming from, and I have been through that myself. I've been here for over 25 years, and the longer I stay here, the longer I see my family members, they're passing away, and one after another, it makes me think like, wow, what else we are missing by being away. And first I had my father pass away, then after a year or two my uncle, then my other uncle, then my mom passed away a few years ago. And then you feel that eventually you're cutting more of those roots that you had in the past, even though that you didn't go and visit, even though that you didn't talk to them that much. But after some time and being for a very long time in your new chosen home, you feel now that you are getting more and more isolated. And unless you start building a new family and a new community in your new country, you are gonna feel like this for the longest times. To all of you, to all of the women that feel this way, please don't feel anymore this kind of emotions, because it's gonna hamper you from moving forward. It's gonna affect your family. It's gonna affect the way you live your life in Canada or any other place in the world. You're gonna feel that life is passing by you and leaving you behind, and you're not able to catch up neither with the people living in Canada, neither with your family living overseas. So my advice to you is try to keep first more in touch with your family, because this is gonna be very good for you, for your mental and for your emotional health, especially when you still do not have support in your new country after resettlement. So that would be a good thing. The amazing thing now is not like in the old days when I moved to Canada. You have a lot of ways to keep in touch with family overseas, whether through apps on your phone like WhatsApp and Viber and other things, or whether Skyping. You can videotape, you can see so many things that are happening still over there and feel that you are part of it. Yes, it's not the same, but you are not feeling you're left out and you're no longer part of their life. The second thing that I would highly recommend is start building a community around you. Start going out. Start going to places where you can connect with other like-minded women, or even with families that have children that their ages are close to your children. If you just immigrated recently, we're so lucky in Canada. We have a lot of social organizations that offer a lot of programs for refugees and newcomers, and assist them in their resettlement in the country so they can integrate quickly and healthily in the Canadian culture. So what you can do, visit any of these organizations that are close to you. If you want some information, just email me, talk to me, and I will provide you with this information as well. But go and talk to them. They have a lot of programs, and when you attend these programs, you are gonna find some like-minded people. You're gonna make new connections, and those connections are gonna make life a lot easier for you, and you are gonna feel like you have someone here that can understand what you're going through. Because what I find as well is that even when you call your family overseas, and if you're gonna complain or you're gonna talk about how tough life is in Canada, they will not understand that. They will not grasp that concept, because we have totally different kind of life in Canada, totally different kind of stress that we go through as women here. Overseas, you had a lot of support. You had family, you have extended family members, aunts, sisters, uncles, any kind of support. But when you removed yourself and you're now in a new environment, you do not have that same leverage. You cannot bring someone to help you, pay someone like in the past to help you with house chores and getting the kids from school and all of that. And you do not have the leverage of going out, spending time with your husband or even with your friends, and leaving the children with someone that you can trust. So all these factors are going to affect the way you feel and the way you resettle in Canada. And in order for you to really have an amazing life, you need to get past that emotion and past that way of thinking, because then you're going to feel you're trapped and you don't have options. I hear a lot of women that they still thinking of where they came from. They still talk about the country that they moved from and how they lived there and what kind of life they had and what kind of support they had. Well, I guess while it's good to go back to the past and look at it, what is more important is to focus on the present moment and look at the future. Because going back to the past isn't going to help us. We're going to dwell on it. We're going to think about it. It's going to take us back to a point where it's going to make us lose touch with our present life and reality, which is not conducive, neither for me as a woman, neither for my family, neither for my children. So why are we doing this to ourselves? Why would we torture ourselves this way? So as a woman that has been through the same experience, I'm telling you, connect with your family, use all means. At the same time, build the new connections in your new country, build the new connection in Canada or in Sweden or Australia, wherever you are. Go out there. And in all these countries that you immigrated to, you will find social organizations that will help you during resettlement. So this is very, very important for you to do so. The third thing is, let me think, I'm not sure what's the third thing, but just go out and take time for yourself. I know it's so hard to do so when you're running around between looking after the children, feeding them, taking them to school, cooking, and a lot of the women that I know that live over here as well, their husbands had to leave because they couldn't find jobs here. So now the mother is doing everything and is playing the role of the father as well. So now you are doing all the chores, all the things that the father could have helped with, but now you're doing it alone. And for that, it is a lot more important for you to try to take that time for yourself. Just take a few minutes. You drop the children to school, take a few minutes, then come back, sit down with yourself, maybe drink a cup of coffee and read something. And again, something funny, something educating maybe. Don't listen to news that are gonna affect you for the rest of the day and the way you live here in Canada. Focus on you building your life. Focus on starting a new life. And I think that would be the best advice that I can give you as an immigrant woman that has gone through the process before you. And that is why I want to talk to you about that. If you think that you are sad for a very long time or you're not feeling well, please don't hesitate to go to your medical doctor, connect with them, tell them how you feel, and they will be able to help you and support you with anything that you need support with, whether it's medical or maybe they can refer you as well to other therapies that we have around. So please don't ignore that part of your health. Don't isolate yourself and go out, because that is an important factor of social well-being is important in determining your health. So go out there, connect to other like-minded women or families. And I think that what I'm giving you, the advice applies to everyone, males women, men, and everyone, even young children and young people that immigrate and move from one country to another. But specifically, I'm talking more about women because I relate to that experience, because of the email that I received from the reader, and because I know how it feels. And I know because as women, we are more emotional, and a lot of times we're affected a lot more than men. And that's why I just talk about us. So if you are listening to this, please take care of yourself. Find the time to look after you, because what you're gonna realize after years of settling in Canada, that you have spent the most of your life looking after your children, your husband, and others, and at the end of the time, when everyone leaves, all the children leave your house, then you feel that you are alone. So if you have not worked on building that network and building yourself, then you are not gonna like where you will be in life. I hope my message resonate with you. If you need support in any area, please don't hesitate to connect with me on social media or visit my website at www.rajamichelle.com, and you can connect with me as well from there. Peace and love to you and to your families, and until I see you next, take care. Bye-bye.